Start.
Again? Okay. I am Jose Santiago Riello. I was born in the northwest of Puerto Rico. I came here to Cantera when I was 5 years old. The Salesians came to Cantera in 1948, so I was 5 years old. I grew up around the church, the new Salesian Society. For us, it was like an oasis. We had nowhere to go. There was no water source or electricity. So our only moment of enjoyment was the oratorio. I could study here from 4th grade to 9th. And I went to high school. I graduated from the University of Puerto Rico as a teacher, history teacher. But I had to leave because I was very young. I was 20 years old, and I left to the United States to become a teacher in the bilingual program. 3 years later, I came back to Cantera, and I started working at the Albert Einstein High School, very close from here. But I never lost relations with the Salesians. I play here at soccer, baseball. I could enjoy a great education. The people said that with the priest, the learning comes with blood. So I learned very well. And when I went to the university, I didn't have to make a great effort to came well with my grades. I got married, and the government started in 1989 after Hurricane Hugo a great program of housing, jobs, environment, health. And I was chosen as the leader of the committee to participate. But Padre Jorge Martí was the director of the parish. And I remember that Jorge Martí had been my teacher in 4th grade here at the Cantera College. And I invited him to be part of the new project. And he told me, okay, I will participate, but this is a very tough way to have it done. And I told him, you know what? If the church don't participate, then it'll be a white elephant. Because we need the church to be part of the project. And he came in. Since that moment, the church, the organization, has been very important in the whole project of Cantera. Padre Juan Rios, in the early 50s, was the stone that we used to build this important society in Cantera. The Salesians in Cantera have been great. I couldn't pay when I was studying here, so I studied for free. I just had to work helping or doing little things around the church. But this organization, especially the parishes, Colacho, Padre Jorge, and many others, always had a green light for the people of Cantera to study, to participate. They used to help us with food, with money sometimes. They used to bring us to the hospitals once we needed. And I can't imagine Cantera without the Salesians organization. Now I'm retired, but I still do participate working with the priests. I am part of the board the board of directors of this organization. And I've been always around or looking for help for scholarships or looking for help to rebuild the organization. And I used to convince the government to give to the church a very big amount of land about 10 years ago. Well, I'm going to start since the beginning, since I came here. I was born in a beautiful place with green mountains and flowers, rivers, and lakes. And when I came here, it was like going from glory to hell. No, there was no water, but we had an enchantment here. Those very first priests, like Joaquin Soler, were very tough ones, but at the same time they were very kind. And we used to come here at 8 to start classes, so from 8 to 3. But we were here at 7 because we had no breakfast at home. So they gave us chocolate or milk or something like that. But when it came out at 3, at 3:10 we were here because we were trying to play at the yard. The community grew up around the church. There were many different sectors. We have, before the Hugo hurricane, we had 11 sectors. After Hugo, now we have 17. But the church has always been looking for the good of the different sectors. But the hurricanes, Hugo, George, Hortense, and now Irma and Maria have demolished this community. We have lost, we have houses, mixed houses, cement, wood, and zinc. And the part of wood and zinc disappeared with the different hurricanes. But once we have always knocked at the doors of the church, they come with us to look for help. The jobs are, I think we have more than 50% of people unemployed. Our kids start elementary school in 100, but when they finish high school, only 50% graduate from high school. In the meantime, in the way, they disappear 50%. Our programs are to try to empowerment the people to achieve goals like 12th grade or 2 years at the university or be a bachelor grades, even architects, lawyers, doctors, because in this community we have them. For example, we tried when the project started in 1989 to convince people that, okay, we are going to help you to go to the university, but we need examples. Our people used to go to university, and once graduate, they left. So the new ones stood. And now we can use them as examples, living examples of what a community could achieve if they stay. Or you, as an example, the kids can try to match your goals. So we have a much better community. We have built new houses. We have built new roads. We have built different projects, housing projects. And in 1980, when there was a mayor in San Juan named Padilla, he was his surname, he built a program that was called San Juan Southwest project. And with the project, he was wiping out all the sectors, and only the church stood tall. So we start a movement that has to convince the politicians that with a little help and education, we could be part of the project. We didn't want to go out, we want to be part of the new project. And since that, we built 350 new houses that were changed with the people who were living in the shores of the lagoon. They didn't have to pay anything for a new house, but we made a contract that you can't sell the house in the next 20 years. But if you want to sell the house, then you have to give the project that paid for the house the amount of money that cost the house. So that way we used to convince people that stay here. We are in the heart of San Juan. Right now we have about 12,000 people living here in a 500 square miles. We have 2 high schools, the one here at the college, the other Albert Einstein, 3 junior high schools, and 5 elementary schools. And we've been helping nature to renew. Now we don't send the used waters to the lagoon. No, we build a new complex to receive the used waters, and we send them out. Our way of living has grown, except by those hurricanes that have hurt us very bad. But we are up. We woke up, and we are trying to go on and on with the people to be part of this community. We don't want to disappear. We want to force is not the word, to convince the government that you have to build or get better schools to convince people to stay. I used to walk to the university. When I was at the university, it's about 2 miles, 3 miles. I didn't have a quarter to go. But I used to walk round trip every day. I didn't die. And right now, Cantera means quarry. It's like when you break a mountain and you bring rocks. That's a quarry. Cantera, it's something like that. But a quarry for opportunities, a quarry for youngsters to study, a quarry to invite people to come here and make their houses in Cantera. We are trying to convince people that when you educate a poor person, he is a problem. I mean, that if people don't get an education, they are easy to move or to use. But when people are educated, you have a strong group that you can use for the better ways of the community. I have my house very close from here, and thanks God, we didn't have any problem. Because when I was building my house, I asked the engineer to construct bigger columns, because my sons, my daughters were going to live there. I didn't have to run away. We were almost 20 at home when the Irma and Maria passed. But as soon as they passed, we move around the community helping others, cleaning streets, picking up all the materials that could be used again. Colacho made a great effort helping us, bringing his friends, Welsh friends, to help us grow up or stand the community up. But you didn't ask for it, but I'm going to say this. The Salesians are the poor of the priests. I think are the poorest of the different organizations in Catholic. But in my experience is that they are the ones that go to the drug points or to the worst slums to pick people and bring them. My experience here is that I have seen Wilfredo, Padre Joaquin, Colacho going into the drug points to convince people that they are killing themselves using that stuff. And are the ones that if you come at 1 in the morning and you knock at the door, they come out and they go with you wherever you want to go. I used to visit Torino, and when you hear the stories of what Don Bosco did, it's amazing, because these priests are not Don Bosco, but they do the same. And they're not rich, and they share what they have. I've seen different priests that they put their hand in the pocket, and they, in a secret way, they give them whatever you want. I visited with Colacho, Cuba, and that lady, Doña Lourdes, spent more, and she didn't say anything to no one. She didn't give to the poor more than $30,000. No, I'm not going to say anything wrong about the other organizations, Catholic, but the Salesians, I stand tall for them. Every time they call me or they need me, I'll be ready, I'll be present. Because I grew Salesian, and I had a lot of hungry when they helped me. And I study, I could achieve two master's degrees and 38 PhD doctorate credits, but I never moved from Cantera. All my kids have a university grade, but we all live here. And I do not permit that people come and speak nasty about Salesians. No, I'm not. I don't fight. I'm trying to convince people about thinking. I'm a free thinker, and I'll die a Salesian. I think it's a. For example, when Hugo. We made a strong effort to bring the rich people here to Cantera. And we could make a team with the poor ones, the leaderships of the poor ones, the church, and the rich people. And in 20 years of project, they spent more than $50 million here in Cantera. No, and the church had a very important role in that matter. Yeah, we call Tormentera. Tormentera is a very hard zinc plate that you put in the. My windows are crystal ones, and I had to protect them. But before the storm. Irma was a monster. But Irma came, and I don't know, 100 miles before reach Puerto Rico, move up, pass to the north of Puerto Rico, pass to the north of Santo Domingo, and demolish Cuba. For Irma, people in Puerto Rico were always saying, they don't come, they pass away, or Puerto Rico is blessed, so they won't come. And for the past 20 years that happened. We never had suffered category 5 or more, because when Maria entered to Puerto Rico, the radar fell, and we couldn't measure the miles. So. But it was like a special bomb or something like that was put in the center of Puerto Rico, and it destroyed the whole island all over. We all were well prepared. Food, water, and we could move people that were in the shore of the lagoon to the special schools that were open to receive people that were in a bad situation. But we had not much of those people, because since George and Hugo, our houses were better built, cement, but this was a monster. It didn't respect cement or no. If Maria could not break the house, then it put the I would say it demolished the mountains, and then the houses came down with the mountains. Right now, there are places still that we can get there. I don't know how many people died in Maria's hurricane, but there were a lot. But Puerto Rico stands still. We are woke up. We are a country with positive thinking. We think we are going to get better after the disaster. But a hurricane or a tornado, it's not a game. You have to take care of what comes in. And now, I don't know why, but the hurricanes are tougher. They have more strength. I don't know. I could never think about a natural force that big or that strong. It was like, we say at home, we say that it was like the devil was blowing through the windows, because the doors tried to open. And we moved to the safest square in the house or room. But, the doors were like, okay, now in a little while the door is going to break, then we have to go to the kitchen or to the bathroom, but thank God we didn't have that problem, but it blew too hard. We think that it has more than 180 miles per hour. And we were very scared, because we thought this thing doesn't, when it's going to end? Because it was about 16 hours or something like that. And when the eye passed Puerto Rico, came a very quiet calm, or very, but when it came back, was stronger. And sometimes you was watching through the windows and you saw a house, and when you turned the house wasn't there. It had blown out. It was terrific. But after the storm, because we have food, water, we could survive well for 2, 3, 4 days. We have no electricity yet, but we are going back to our ancestors' days. And now we go up into the house and we see, we look at the stars and the sky, and we are enjoying it night after night. And we are sleeping in my house in the ceiling, and it's fantastic there. Jorge, the director, Colacho, and the others were almost every day around the community looking for people that were in the big need. The organizations, because of the name of the Salesians, brought all the help and the food and water to the church. And the church was the one who had to give to people. For example, on Monday, once you pass around the church, there was a big row of people waiting for food, for water, and in a very organized way. So the oasis was this. And they never abandon us. So they're not always in the community, but no, the church has some ups and downs. But like I said, the Salesians are different. They're always in the community. The big need of this organization after the hurricane is the sports. Our park, it's our park was demolished.
One more time from the beginning.
The big need for this organization, Don Bosco said, sports are the. I don't know if he said so, but he meant this. Mens sans in corpore sans, right? Mente sana in corpo sano, and our body is ill. We have to fix the court, the soccer court, and the areas of where we practice, because we don't have many parks around, and that's our place to enjoy and to practice and to get better skills. I don't know if you can help us through this, but we really need help to put some medicine on our park and our soccer court. Our school is losing about 30 students a year, and we have a very good school here. But that's the same amount of number for the whole Puerto Rico. We have a very big amount of Puerto Ricans living in Puerto Rico every day. Right now, more than 750,000 have left for Florida or for United States, other states. And for us, that's a defeat. I feel we didn't, it's like every time we're going to say something, we touch our heart. So, but for us, it's like a defeat. Because when you educate people to stay at your place to help grow a more educate and committed community, when this passes, it's like if you lose or if you get knocked out in a fight, Puerto Rico has a special way that no other community in Latin America has. We are a colony, but we are North American citizens. And if the wind blows hard, you take an airplane and you leave to the States. Yeah? Dominicans can, Haitians can, Cubans can, but we do. That's why Puerto Rico is going out. It's like when you turn things around, you bring the bottom to the surface. That's happening in Puerto Rico. Right now, in the United States, there are more than 5 millions of Puerto Ricans, and we have 3.5 million in the island. We think that in one way or the others, the North Americans are trying to buy everything they could buy in Puerto Rico. The islands, the mountains. And if we do not take care of ourselves and face this problem, sooner or later we are going to be the ones that serve to the millionaires that will come to Puerto Rico. And you can convince people once, but not all the time. And many of them went up there because they are ill and we don't have electricity. The hospitals are not working in a full amount of strength, but many of them will come. But we're losing youngsters, and that's youngsters and well-educated youngsters, and that's awful. No, we were, while the electricity was on, we were always, all the time communicating with our families around the island, with our friends, closest friends. But once, after that nightmare, that was a nightmare, and you could see that your family was well, then we move away, knock on doors, how do you feel? And that's a Puerto Rican tradition. Once you see, or you can see your family, it's not harm, then we go out, and especially looking for elders or mothers that are divorced or mothers with sons. That's our main goal. And we could hear people calling others or cleaning up the streets or moving the trees, or it was like ants working together to help others.
In those moments when you were close with your family, did you pray together to Jesus? It was a moment.
I'm Catholic, but I'm not a practitioner, like coming to the church. But you always, for example, me, I always pray in the night. I always thank God because some live again. But sometimes when a thing like this comes, you forget yourself. You pray for the others. Okay, I have a good house, and you see that when you see a person, how's everything? Oh, thanks God. Oh, thanks Mary. There's I don't know if I can tell you this joke around, but they say that this Christmas they are going to ban Maria from the the Christmas tree, because Maria hit us very, very, very hard. Others say we are forgetting God. We don't go to church, and this is an advisor from God that He's still the one who decides what's going to happen. And for me, it's both. So, I confess you. After that, I'm coming to the church every day. So, because there's a force, there's a nature, something special out there that decides what's going to pass. And if we are alive still, that thing or God or decide that I still have something to do in this world. And ours is to convince people that we can't play with nature. We can't forgive that something special out there decide that you leave, you don't, you stay, you're out, and the name is God. So I'm back. We need a stronger church. We need help with education. You can go on in no country without education. If you could make the miracle of find someone out there that could give us, if you could make a miracle and find someone with a lot of money that could give us scholarships for the youngsters of the community, that would be fantastic. We'll have money for the scholarships up to next year or in the next 5 years. But if we can plant some more money to help students, it'll be fantastic. We need youngsters, priests. Puerto Rico has a problem. We don't convince youngsters to become a Salesian priest. We have only one in the history of Cantera. Andres is the only priest here. But when I visit Cuba, I see a lot of youngsters in Santo Domingo. I've been in Panama for the Don Bosco celebration, and you see a lot of youngsters. But in Puerto Rico, I don't know what's happening. If we could convince youngsters that becoming a priest or being part of the Salesian society would be like grace, it'll be fine. I have seen that almost all the Salesians in Puerto Rico are old. And we need to plant new seeds. Almost all of them have more than 60 years old. If you make a comparison, maybe more than 60% are old. We'll be eliminating two areas of Salesians in Puerto Rico, Aguadilla y Cataño. And so there's something wrong. There's something that is not correct. You will help us not forgetting Salesians in Puerto Rico. Like I said, planting new seeds, convincing people that grew up with Salesians to be participate, not as priests, but could help the society. I could ask for a lot of things that I say we say in Puerto Rico that the ones to ask always have money. Los que piden nunca se pelan. ¿No? You Salesians don't ask for yourself, but then help us ask. And in Puerto Rico, the schools that help develop technical schools don't exist. In Santo Domingo, it's fantastic, it's big. We could do the same in Puerto Rico, and with that school you could bring another kids to school, but we don't have a place, for example, here in Cantera. But if we're going to close Aguadilla or Cataño, why don't we turn those places in vocational schools? And that's the big help you will. But with those schools, you have to bring another priest or other persons. That's the big need. We need priests, Salesian priests in Puerto Rico.
Thank you.